Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Fangirls Only. This week, our special guest is medium and good witch, Patti Negri. So, how are you doing today, Patti?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a beautiful day here in LA. It's great.
So, you're a medium and a good witch, which is really cool. And I've watched you on the Overnight slash TFI channel and Ghost Adventures for the past year now. And what you do is just insane. So, how did you start growing a liking for the paranormal world?
I think I was actually just born into it. When I was a little kid, literally like a toddler, I just talked to spirits, saw spirits, elementals. I thought everybody could. I just really knew that what they tried to tell you is your imaginary friends weren't all imaginary. They were real spirits that I could talk to and get real information. And I think really most kids can. Most kids, we really are born with a gift, but it gets taught out of us in our modern Western non-magical, non-mystical society. Everything becomes, oh, your imaginary friend, and it all isn't. So it just didn't get taught out of me. My mom would always go, yeah, grandma did that too. So okay, so we'll keep talking to him. And I think I was about 13 when I finally decided to like really become a seeker and look into magic and religion and philosophy and the occult and science and metaphysics and spirituality and try to make sense of it. And it all makes sense. It all takes it down to energy. So I'm born into it.
Okay, so did you grow up in a house that was haunted? And if you did, do you have any crazy stories from the house?
I did not grow up in a house that was haunted.
Oh,
It was just this typical suburban LA area house. But again, I was obsessed with talking to the dead, and it wasn't dark or morbid. And I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for. I was 7 or 8. I went into the hallways, bright daylight, stuffed towels under the doors. There were no windows, with my best friend, Sherry Jones, and wanted to conjure and call in the dead. I realized I didn't know anybody dead. And so I'm like, thought of any movie star I could think of, like Marilyn Monroe, and my little windowless, lightless hallway filled with orbs and lights and spirits and coming through. So even though I ran out screaming, I was jumping up and down going, yes, this is real and this is controllable. And since I was a little kid, I have the firm belief, and it's always been proven true, that this is our realm of existence. This three-dimensional, run by gravity, our world is we're in charge, but people don't know that. So that's why I'm not really, I mean, I get scared, of course, but going into insanely haunted places with the guys or with the shows and serial killers and channeling, mass murderers, I still know this is our world and I get to be in charge. And not with anger, not with fear, because that's what a dark entity would want. Just like, nope, out of here. You're gone, and it works. Had crazy experiences since then, but not growing up. It was just what I did.
oh. As I said before, you've been on some paranormal adventures with so many creators in the paranormal world. So has there been any favorite place that you've been to?
Has been the what place that I've been to. The
Like any favorite haunted
I
or
think I
place?
think what the place that just blows me away every time, and I've done several things there, is the Cecil Hotel.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did it with Zach and the Ghost Adventures crew. I did it with Elton and Corey, and that I did another CW show, Mysteries something. And that place is so dark and it has so much. And I just want to help the people there, because actually they're moving in like homeless people right now.
Oh,
And and it takes you over. Even a healthy, strong, happy person, you get depressed within minutes of being there. So I would love to go clear that place, bring every person I know of light and love. I don't care, priest, preacher, witch, shaman, vampire, werewolf, new age, or just everybody big hold hands and clear the place, because I'm worried for all those people. So
mhm.
that place, every time I've been there, is insane. That's the place I kind of talked backwards when I was with Corey and Elton. That's the place I totally almost jumped. Well, Zach thought I was going to jump out a window on Ghost Adventures. So that place always stands to. And the other like dark, scary place, and I don't scary, is the Black Dahlia house.
Oh, yeah.
That's scary, and but it's fun if this is the world we choose. But I also really like Happy Ghosts. I like to hang out like at the Hollywood Roosevelt, or there's different areas like Hollywood Athletic Club that ghosts are hanging there. They're not stuck. It's just they had a good time there. So they're hanging from the chandeliers. Like I've seen Marilyn Monroe at the pool at the Roosevelt a couple times in like this chiffon pool cover. It's like, yeah, having fun. You don't, everything doesn't have to be a mass murderer.
I actually went to the Queen Mary in like 2018 and like I remember like vividly like we were on like a ghost tour and like the our tour guide was telling us about like this guy in a gray suit at like one of the nurseries. I think it was like the third nursery. And like halfway through he was telling the story, a guy with a gray suit came up the stairs and like went into a door. And like I had like no like it still scares me till this day because that was like the only like big like paranormal thing that's ever happened to me. It was it's definitely something. Yeah.
Somebody gonna hang up on them. Sorry, they'll call back.
Okay.
That's supposed to
So
be turned off. Haunted phone. I have a haunted phone. It's like on mute. Oh well. It, it
okay.
happened. I have, I do have a beautiful ghost spirit who lives in my house. I've got my haunted doll Belle. So it's an active little place.
Okay. So next question. What is some I was my house is not
Ghost.
anymore.
That
Okay. So what is something that you have learned in your career that has stuck with you the entire time?
I've learned in my career. I think that is the biggest lesson, that we are in charge and that people don't know that. So they give away their power. I think the biggest lesson is really about claiming your power in everything. Yes, the paranormal world, but in the day-to-day world and in relationships and in your work life and everything. That has always stuck with me. I mean, I've even started a school on that premises and things. And that the strangest and wildest things can happen and will. Like I said, I've had some insane things, pictures taken out of frames in front of me, things flying across the room. I had somebody burst into flames at one of my seance tables. It's like anything can happen.
So if anyone watching wants to learn more about the paranormal world or wants to do some haunted adventures themselves, what advice would you give them to get started?
I would say start out, don't go off to some scary place all by yourself when you don't know what you're doing. Find a group, but they're either a public hunt or whatever, and there's a lot wherever you live, or get a local team. And almost anywhere you live now, there everybody's got a team. I mean, it could be all across the country. I travel all around the country and all over the world all the time. Everybody's got a team. Don't start it on your own. Start with people, somebody who already has the equipment, people who are trained in this. I actually teach classes on psychic protection and paranormal investigation. Some of my teachers are the best paranormal investigators in the world. So it's like, don't jump in the deep end of the pool if you don't know how to swim. Start slow. Go to the fun little haunted house the first time that a little girl is seen playing in the backyard, kind of stuff. Don't go off to the serial killer, because again, I've had somebody burst into flames. I've had my ribs almost broken. I've had the cartilage ripped off my ribs. It's
Oh
serious. You
my
have to take it
God,
seriously. so
that is crazy.
so get a look at something local. There's lots lots of resources. I mean, there is literally books like Ghost Hunting for Dummies. Zach has a book. My book has some good, my book Old World Magic for the Modern World, it has some good protection and clearing techniques. I have a crazy cheap school that I teach online Zoom classes starting like $10 a month. There's lots no cost or low cost options to learn what you're doing, to learn to swim, as it were.
So this is the last question. And have you ever had a moment in your career that you were so fascinated by the paranormal world that you wanted to make a scary movie or a documentary about your paranormal experiences? Because
I
that would be crazy.
I think the one that I would like, and it actually could almost be a film, but they haven't done it yet, is when the Catch on Fire one. I was filming at this house right in my neighborhood in the Hollywood Hills. It was built by Charlie Chaplin for one of his many girlfriends. Mary Astor was her name. She was a movie star of the day, a silent era. And it was a super party house. And whenever there's super party house, a lot of dark stuff can get in, just because it does. And then in the 60s, the Rolling Stones manager bought it. And so the Rolling Stones stayed there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, all these very creative, high vibration energy people. Then they sold it. And then the guy who invented the real life sex doll moved in for a while. It was too scary for him. And then my neighbor, Marilyn Manson, moved in. And he would record there, and even got too scary for him. So we were filming there, and one kid got disrespectful. I think that is my one rule. If anybody wants to get involved in the paranormal, go slow, but number one, be respectful. You don't always have to know what you're doing, but the only time I've ever seen anybody get into trouble, even in my world, is don't be disrespectful. I don't care if the people are living or dead or ghosts or spirits or elementals. Don't be disrespectful. So that one, anyway, so this one kid was getting disrespectful. So first cool things were happening, like the front doors flying open and the speakers coming on white noise. They weren't even plugged in. And we're like, everybody's screaming. I'm like, okay, keep cool. But this guy was getting just really smart alecky. And finally he said something. We had 4 cameras filming this, so this is caught on camera. He said something so stupid, not him, but the cameraman facing him burst into flames, like a V up his back, like angel wings of fire, like everybody is screaming. 2 cameras caught it, which is great. One camera started filming the ceiling or the floor. His camera, poor guy, facing wrong way, wondered why everybody's screaming and pointing at him. And me, cool witch medium Patty becomes medic Patty. And I am a medic. I'm an EMT1 cardiology tech. I'm like, drop and roll. And I'm calling in my guardians and my wards to protect them. We're done. I don't care what we're filming. We're done. Nobody bursts into flames on my watch. But the guy who caught on fire, who was a super skeptic, he was so intrigued with this. He's like, no, I'm okay. I have his shirt burnt off. I have a sweater, though I'm watching the blistering on his back. I'm like, you have to go to the doctor. This isn't okay. But 3 weeks later, turned out happy. 3 weeks later, he showed me his back where the blistering was. It totally, oh my God, Vanessa, it totally looked like he had got a tattoo of a dragon. Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head, into the shape of a serpent. And that's the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon energy. It's powerful. It's crossroads manager. I mean, I've dragon everything, dragons. And I'm looking at him. He was so intrigued. And I'm like, oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. That is right on the lower back. And so he was so intrigued by it. He wrote a movie script about this TV medium, psychic medium, who did every reality show basically about me. But then, a portal opens and all hell breaks loose, and it turns into a funny, scary horror film, which is the kind I like. They haven't done it yet. If he wrote it with Stephen Norrington, actually the guy who wrote The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the Blade series. So this real Hollywood guy, but they keep getting other projects. But if they do it, I sat down with him for 5 hours and I go, Laurent, you can't say that on camera. He goes, but you said that. I go, I know I said that. That opens a portal. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? Because spirits don't know the difference of an actor reading a script off something. That's what happens all the time on horror films when they don't have an expert on set that knows the meaning of things. So if they do ever make the movie, it'll be safe. So that's the one I would love to get made into a movie, because I mean, I still have, with all the stuff I've done all over the world, only once has somebody burst into flames. They were not standing in front of a fireplace. It's like, ah.
That was the craziest story I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, even knowing that like the burnt was like a dragon.
It's crazy. So again, very happy ending to a crazy story.
Yeah. So that was all the questions. So thank you so much for coming on. It was amazing finally getting to talk to you. And thank you so
Thank you. I wish you all the luck with this. This is great. Have fun with the podcast. And thank you, everybody. So check me out, Patti Negri everywhere, Patti.Negri on Instagram. I have a lot of fake me's. I will never try to contact you. Go for the verified one, or go to my website and get to the right social media from there. So, but all the best to you.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Okay. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.